Okay, so I have lots of ideas because this is my first team call that I've ever hosted. I'm super, super excited about it. But I thought that I would tell you a little bit about me before I get into it because my story is kind of unique to what I've heard so far. So after I had Oliver, who is going to be 2 this year, which is crazy, I decided that working from home was for me. I hadn't found Beachbody yet. This is not like a glory story yet. I found it works, okay? And I don't know what it was about it. I think it was actually the distributor that signed me up, and she just made it seem like gold, right? It's like magic. Like you just lose inches and you could still eat burgers and it's great. Fun fact, I did not lose inches. I did eat burgers and I gained weight. It was awful. My husband called it, what does he call it? Icy hot wraps. So he said that he would be better off putting icy hot on himself and wrapping himself in saran wrap than trying my wraps for me, right? So terrible. No support at all. And I mean, he was great, but it was awful. So down the line, obviously I fell off the wagon because it just wasn't actually for me. But I still have a closet full of it works stuff because you had to buy so much to be active, which was actually one of my draws for Beachbody is that you didn't have to do that. So I had to buy at least like $60 or $80 worth of stuff a month. So I have a closet full of stuff that I'll never use, but I cannot throw away because I paid so much money for it. And I didn't realize that until tax season 2015. Because I was like, oh, I wonder if I made $600 to get my, 1099. No. And I looked at how much I spent. It was like almost double that. We spent a crazy amount of stuff and it's in my closet. Like my husband would kill me, totally kill me. So anyway, so I still needed to lose the baby weight. We were about a year post baby and ready to start for number 2. And then I was complaining about being fat, sitting on our couch. And my husband finally was like, you know what? Like, I bought this for you. And he had bought me the 21-day fix because I had been trying to decide, if I was going to do the 21-day fix or the Advocare 24-day challenge. And Advocare had so many chemicals and products that you had to do. And I knew that I couldn't do that through my pregnancy. And I was not gaining 90 pounds this time like I did the first time. So I went with 21-day fix and I complained and complained and complained. I'm fat. I'm ugly, blah, blah, blah. So he finally bought it for me. And I had talked to Karina a whole bunch. She basically stalked my Facebook, respectfully stalked my Facebook for a year. So I was like, hey, my husband bought this for me. Can I be, will you be my coach? And she, don't tell anyone, she let me into her challenge group without drinking Shakeology because she saw potential, I think. Not really sure. But so I'm in this challenge group and everyone's so supportive and I met Caitlin and I loved Caitlin and Amber and everyone was really great. And I was seeing great results. So I thought, okay, I'm going to dabble in coaching, which wasn't for me either. I tried a challenge group. I pretty much let anybody into it. I had no rules for it. I just wanted to help people because I had lost 10 pounds, 12 inches in 3 weeks. It was crazy results. And we got pregnant in that same time. But no one posted in my challenge group, nobody but me. And my husband would post a sweaty selfie with me every once in a while. It was sad. So then I was like, well, I always said I'm never doing this again after it works. I was convinced that I was it was not for me. You are not going to get me into a scammy business again. And so I kept doing the 21-day fix. I was pregnant. Oliver got sick in October. I think he had an ear infection because the kid gets ear infections like nobody's business. And so I'm at home crying on my couch, 30 weeks pregnant. I just want to be at home. I know any of you mommies can understand. I'm tearing up thinking about it. And I'm like, I just want to be with my baby. And, then I reached out to Karina. I was like, let's do this. This is the way. I think she'd actually posted a Lindsay Matway video on our team page. And I just clicked on it. And I watched and I was like, God, she's perfect. She's a Barbie. She's making millions. If she can do it, I can do it. I'm going to be $1 million mama. And I don't know if you can see this, but I actually have that written. Am I showing you? There we go. All over, everywhere. I have $1 million mama written on my mirrors, written on my walls. I work out downstairs and I have a piece of paper taped to my wall that says $1 million mama. Your body is your business. Work harder. Like, not messing around anymore. So anyways, so I hit Emerald in 30 days because I said I was going to. So I did. So I'm 30 weeks pregnant, busted my butt. I signed up 2 coaches. One was my husband. And then it felt like the coaches just started to like kind of flow in. It was like all flowing. I was doing my power hour every day. I was working 40 hours a week. I had a toddler and I was 30 weeks pregnant. I was tired, but I was going to make $1 million. I'm still going to make $1 million. And then December came around. So we had Fletcher on the 17th. So about the 3rd of December, I fell off the wagon. Do you know, though, that I got paid every single week until I started working my business again? One check was only $19, but I made $120, and I made a $50 check, and I made a $70 check. And I was like, I'm still getting paid. I'm not doing anything. This is awesome. So I started posting again, and I'm back in my business. Full time, super excited, obviously. I can't stop talking. But I did make one little mistake, and I'm just going to warn you about it now. I'm not even going to put it in the rest of my spiel here. Do not move social media until your business is established a little bit more. So I thought, like, all right, I've got this personal page thing down. Like, I'm good. I'm going to move to my like page. Okay, so I only have probably 800 friends in January this year. So when I moved to my like page, only about 100 of them moved with me. 10% of 100 is like 10 people. So 10 people were seeing my really, really good posts for an entire month. I lost an entire month. And I just want to tell you, don't do that. Like, do not lose a month of work. But this month, I have 2 new coaches signed up and 2 more signing up. And I'm at Success Club 8 because I moved back over to my personal page. So just a little bit about me. So that's my story. So it works distributor, failed, was never going to do another MLM. Like, I was convinced I was not going to do it. And then I just found potential in this because here's the thing. Beachbody is literally just helping people. So we get to help people, and it's diet and exercise and Shakeology, which is delicious. Okay. I was like, I don't like Shakeology until I actually tried it. I didn't like the price of Shakeology, and now I know it's totally worth it. And I'm finding now that my, excuse me, what am I trying to say? Like, people are not saying, oh, it's too expensive, because I don't believe it's too expensive anymore. I'm like, you need this in your life. Everybody needs Shakeology in their life. It's delicious. Like, do you want a peanut butter shake? I do. Do you want Black Forest cake? I do. Like, it's awesome. Okay, so enough harping on Shakeology. Sorry. So here is where I get a little bit more into why I'm here. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about growing your team with confidence, because it's something that I preach to my team. My 3 working coaches, all day, every single day. If they're like, this isn't working, this isn't happening, I'm like, well, what are you doing? So obviously you all know you have to do your vital behaviors. You need to invite. You have to be a product of the product, and you need to work on yourself. You have to do your personal development. Like, hands down, that's a must-have. So those are some of my daily non-negotiables. I do a power hour. If I don't have a consistent hour, I still set aside 5 minutes for ads or 15 minutes for this. Even if it's not 1 hour in a row, I make the time to do the power hour. I also treat my team like there's a million of them. I know that I'm going to be a top coach. I am confident I'm going to make $1 million. I'm going to be a top coach. And it's just in my head. Like, I feel like a top coach. Like, you could basically just call me Lindsay Matway. Okay. Like, that will be me someday. And so I treat every single one of my coaches, when I'm talking to them one-on-one or 1-on-3, or, all 4 of us are talking usually in our team calls, but I talk to them like I'm talking to all of you, or I'm talking to, a big crowd at Summit, because I feel like my team will be that. So I really think it's important to visualize where you want your team to go and treat your team like you're already there. If you want to be a top 10 coach, you need to talk to your team like you're talking to 70,000 people, 100,000 people, whoever your coaches are. So one of my big things for newer coaches or even existing coaches that haven't done it yet, I let my coaches do one challenge group with me as a mentorship. So I will do most of the posting. They can jump in when they're ready and ask all the questions they need. And I'm more than willing to co-host with them later on down the road because there are only 4 of us right now. Even though I treat them like there's 100,000, like there are 4 of us. So I will run it with you, and you can do half the post and I'll do half the post, or actually you'll probably do more than half the post because I think it's really important to get your challenge groups down, especially while I'm there to help you. But I do not let them hang out my challenge groups. So you have to run your own challenge groups. Like they're your challengers, and you want your challengers to be your coaches, and you want your coaches to look up to you, not up to me. So you have to do that. That's something you have to take initiative for, and you have to do it. Also, this is kind of jumping the gun a little bit, but I think it's important. So I had a conversation with Janine, who is my #1 working coach right now. And we were talking about somebody not signing up because of someone's husband or something. I said, well, do you have a place for them to go? And she was a little bit confused. You're probably a little bit confused too. Here's my thing. Even if you have 0 coaches, I think that everyone should make their team page. So mine is Fierce. My coaches are Fierce. We are Team Fierce, and we are kicking butt. But I made that page when I just had my husband. I added Karina, and I added my husband, and I made that page. And I made my cover photo, and I made our little saying, which I think is one team united by their, I can't remember, something about changing the world. Like, I love it. So I post in there now like I'm talking to 1,000 coaches. Hey, big news, coaches. We're starting team calls next month. Hey, big news. Make sure you know your challenge packs are on sale. I take some of the stuff Christine says and I put it in my challenge, or I put it in my team page, because I think it's really important to start now as a leader. So even if you're only leading one person, like that's one person that could be your #1 coach. Here's my other thing that I always tell my coaches, and I think it's really, really important. When you're talking to someone, you can't be afraid to ask them if they want to be a coach or if they want to be in your challenge group, because chances are you have not met your #1 working coach yet. A lot of you have already seen my video on this because I got all hyped up when I started talking about this, because it's so true. Like, I never knew Karina. Like, I talked to her I definitely talk to her every day now, but last week I only talked to her once or twice, and less and less before that. But I'm her #1 working coach right now, right? And she may get another coach that busts their butt harder than I do, and she doesn't know that person. I have a hardworking coach right now, and I still might have a harder working coach later. So if you don't ask, you'll never know if that person is your hardworking coach, right? Okay, so you can just comment in the little chat box. Have you seen Field of Dreams? Anybody? It's the movie about the farmer, and he has the voices, and the voices are like in the cornfield that are like, if you build it, they will come, right? So that's the voice that I hear in my head as I'm making team trainings for my 3 coaches, and I'm, posting to this group of 100,000 people that aren't quite there yet, but they will be. So I really, really believe if you build it, they will come. And I think that that's like probably the #1 thing I want you to take from my talk, not my rants about it works or my rants about doing your vital behaviors, because you hear that all the time. But you really, 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 sorry, I'm playing with the pen, need to set yourself up like you're going to have a huge team if that's what you want. If you want to dabble in the business, that's fine. I mean, everybody's in the business for their own reasons. Chances are if you're on this team call, you're in it to win it. So, start doing it, I guess. Yeah, want to be a coach? Start acting like it. I guess, does anyone have any questions? Did I miss anything? I don't think so. Anybody have any questions? No? Sorry, I talked really fast. I had like a lot to say, but I just didn't breathe very much. No? Anybody?
So let me ask you, Kara, what would you say is your #1 confidence builder. I mean, you have a great mantra that says if you build it, they will come, but there's something that I see in you, but I want to hear from like your own words, like what is driving you so much? Like, you know what I mean? In this path.
Okay, so I guess I have a little bit more of my story to tell you. Yay, right? Everybody's excited. Okay, so I actually was supposed to go back to my full-time job, like in 2 weeks, I guess, 2 or 3 weeks. But I said, I don't think so. I'm not ready, right? Because I have a small little baby. They're just a little, and I have this little toddler who tells me he's not going to do anything that I say, and sometimes I'm like willing to send him to daycare. The other one, he doesn't talk yet, so he's great. But so I established a really strong why. So this is kind of another thing that I harp on my coaches for. Like if you think you found your why and you can to ask yourself why one more time and answer, you haven't found your why yet. You should literally like go through the checklist. Why do you want to be a coach? Well, I want to be a coach for my kids. Well, why? Because I want to raise my kids. Well, why do you want to raise your kids? Because I want them to have my morals. Like, well, why does that matter? Because like I'm raising small humans. Like that's why, right? So you should get to a point where you literally cannot ask yourself why again and let that fuel your fire. So I do a lot of personal development because I personally take things to heart that I shouldn't. So like if I ask Karina, you know, I think you'd be the best Beachbody coach. I mean that in my heart. Like I mean, you would be awesome. You should do this. Like I don't just ask anybody. Like I find people that I really, really believe would be great. So if she says no, it actually hurts my feelings, and I'm working on that, right? I know people are going to tell me no. But on those days that I start to feel I just double up on my personal development, I start playing with my babies, and I remember, like, I'm not in it for me. It doesn't matter if my feelings hurt. I don't want my kid to get beat up or bit at daycare. My 1-year-old was getting bit at daycare, and I was calling like, hey, did he get bit? And they're like, we don't have a report for it. And I'm like, you don't even know that he got bit by another little kid? Like, that's not okay with me. So, sorry, I'm like all worked up now. Is that what you're talking about? Okay. I just wanted to make sure that I like went the right way with it. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, you did fantastic.
Well, let's see. I had great notes, but yeah, I don't know. And just make sure that you're doing what you want your team to do. This was one of my notes. Sorry, I'm all over. So I've listened to probably 1,000 YouTube videos since I started in October. And in a couple of them, they say like, no coach that you recruit will be better than you are. So like Janine, for instance, is at 8 Success Club points, and I have to beat her to 10 because I told her I would race her to 10, and she caught up really, really fast. But the thing is, like, I can't tell you to hit Success Club if I'm not doing it. I can't tell you to drink Shakeology if you don't see me doing it. If I'm not working out, why would you work out, right? If I'm not doing personal development, you're not going to do it. So the team that you want to build is these are the things you want your team to do. You want them to invite. You want them to do their personal development. You want them to be a product of the product, right? Everybody nod. Yes. Yes, you do. You want them to hit Success Club. How do they hit Success Club? They invite. They do their personal development. They're a product of the product. It's the simplest formula, and it's laid out for you. And sometimes I feel that as coaches, we start to feel like, well, like that can't be it. Like I'm doing that and it's not working. But here's the thing. What you do today affects March. What you do in March affects April. What you do in April, I mean, it just keeps going. So if you stop, like you take a week off, right? So I took 4 weeks off when I had the baby, and I started over, right? I had no new leads. I wasn't planting seeds. I wasn't posting. Your posts are important. Make sure you're doing your 3 to 5 and try to do them at ideal times. Like your market's different than mine. Mine is a busy mom. a working mom or a stay-at-home mom. She doesn't have a lot of time. She doesn't have a lot of money. She usually doesn't wear makeup. I'm like pretty sure that all my people don't wear makeup because I don't, and like attracts like, right? So the times that I post are in the middle of the night when a mom would be feeding their baby, because that's what I'm doing in the middle of the night, or, you know, at nap time, because that's when I have time to look at Facebook. You just have to be consistent, because I'm reading Compound Effect right now. So it really is like everything that I do is based on what I'm reading. So last week we were reading You Are a Badass, right? And I am a badass, let me tell you. But the Compound Effect is all about like the little things that you do every single day that over time they build up and they make your business a business, right? Because you start out and you're like, well, not really a business because I'm not doing anything with it, but it's what you do every day that makes you successful. It's not the thing, like your big milestones are great, right? Hitting diamond is going to be killer. I'm going to have so much fun when I hit diamond. Just wait for that video. But I'm not going to stop doing my vital behaviors because I have 8 coaches and 2 of them are emeralds, because my long-term goal is to be, you know, super duper star diamond. So I don't know. Stay consistent. Do your vital behaviors. Hit Success Club. Like, I feel like a broken record because that's what we hear all the time, but we hear it all the time because it's so important. And if you build it, they will come. Like, anybody have any questions or anything? Anything? Want me to ramble and rant some more? No? No? Are we chatting?
How long would you say, do you mind sharing like a little bit about what we were talking about before everybody jumped on the call? Like
with what? Sorry.
With your W.
Oh, yeah. This is so exciting. Well, it is and it isn't. Okay, sorry. Sidetrack. Here I go again. So I filed my taxes, right? Didn't think anything of it. And then I got this handy dandy little page of paper in the mail, right? That said, you made $750 doing Beachbody. Do you know what that means? That means in October and November, I made $750, right? Didn't know it, but I did it. So I did it works for a year and I made less than $300 profit. I had $1,200. I couldn't say that earlier because my husband was in the room. $1,200 worth of stuff sitting in a closet, right? And downstairs I have not even a whole bag of Shakeology sitting there because everyone in my house drinks it, including the toddler. And I made $750. And I didn't even, like, how exciting is that? That's in 8 weeks. So I don't know, that's like $100 a week, I guess, but that's not how it broke down because the first couple weeks I don't think I made any money. So really in 6 weeks, I made $750 and I was super pumped. That's like one of those, it's like a scale victory. Like you're super excited about your non-scale victories, right? Like your pants felt better, you know, you look better. But when you get on the scale and you've lost 25 pounds, you're like, yes. It was like that for me, but like a money victory. Yes. But now I have to amend my taxes and that's not as fun. Sorry, I'm all over the place.
Oh, you're doing good. Do you guys have any questions? This is, it's great to get perspective from like a newer coach because really, if you were to add up the time that Kara's actually worked the business, it's really only been 3 months. I mean, it was October, some of October. I don't even want to say it was all of October, right? Or
right. Yeah, I think I started the second week of October.
Okay, so midway almost through October, all of November, she ended up, she knew she was going to deliver in December. And basically, her business was at a halt because, you know, she had a baby. And decided that in January, you know, after she enjoyed some time with her baby and all, but in January, she was going to pick it up. And so she hit the ground running. And actually, I shouldn't even say running. She hit the ground running, but through a different platform that wasn't doing her business any justice. I mean, she thought it was, but it wasn't until, you know, I kind of had to say, hey, girl, like,
I needed it.
You're doing more harm to yourself by moving everything to your like page. And she was really coachable at that moment, which is, I think, key, especially as a top coach, is knowing when to be really coachable. And that means, just taking advice from your leaders or anybody in this organization and really just letting it absorb and seeing how it affects your business. And then she very quickly made the change back to her personal page, because she is still considered a new coach. And so she made the change back to her personal page, and her business has literally taken off. I mean, we are talking about this girl being, and I actually saw that you added a coach that's not active right now, but I'm sure they will be. But I mean, we're talking about like 3 coaches away from Diamond in a matter of, if you really count the time, like, 3 months or so of actually working her business. So it's really eye-opener to see what potential each of you guys have once you really put your heart and soul into this business.
Also, side note, I hit Success Club in October, in November, and February. So January, like I said, I fell off the earth onto page land, and I won't be doing that again for a while. And then December, I didn't do anything for my business. But I did make it a point, because success leaves clues, and I read that if you hit Success Club, you will be successful. It's literally in the name. So I did it. I just did it. I don't know how it worked. I did my inviting. I know that sounds crazy, just hit Success Club, but seriously, just do it. Yeah. Okay. I'm done now. I'm good.
Do you guys have any questions? Any of you newer coaches or coaches that feel like you're ready to just hit the ground running? I think Kara is the perfect person to ask her questions to, because she's pretty much in the same boat as you guys, just kind of at the point where she's ready to, or she's hitting the ground running. No questions?
You guys, seriously, ask her questions. This weekend, I had to go out of town for a friend emergency, and I said, Kara, can you please take care of my team while I'm gone? And she did. She hosted a power hour. She had a team call, all this stuff without me. She is so knowledgeable, and she helped my 3 new coaches with whatever questions they had and get started right. So seriously, guys, now's your time to ask.
And if you ask questions, you can say, I asked a top coach a question on her first ever posted team call.
You can say, I was talking to her before she was a millionaire.
That's
I
right.
saw her work from the ground up.
And I will remember the little people. But you'll all be up there with me, so sorry.
That's hilarious. All right. Well, we will actually then end the call early tonight. Thank you guys for joining. Does anybody have any questions?